I'm Gloria Strode, and welcome to Straightforward. Today we are going to have a great community conversation with my great friend Charmaine Crabb and Travis Hargrove. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have an issue going on in the community, and of course, Charmaine, you're always an advocate for the people, trying to make sure that everyone have just a good quality of life and that everyone can enjoy their home and all the benefits of, where they've sacrificed to be homeowners. And Travis, I want to thank you today for bringing your expertise as an attorney to help us figure out what we can do to help the citizens to work through this property assessment issue. So Charmaine, share with our audience exactly what is going on and what we should be doing.
Well, Travis might be better at talking about the process, but what's happening now is the city has got a new computer program to assess the values of all of the properties.
Okay.
And they have assessed the property values for the first time in, like a city-wide reassessment, the first time in 25 years, something like that.
Oh, wow.
And something happened,
Okay.
and the assessments are all off. It's just they're
no uniformity.
inconsistent. There's no uniformity. There's no consistency. We can't figure out why some of these people have 1,000% increase.
1,000%.
Some of them
since
have had
last year.
Yes.
My goodness. And
It's
we
some
have
of
the
them-
freeze. Because you was a co-chair, so we want to make sure we explain to people, because folks have asked me, well, I thought we voted to keep the freeze, but this
We
has
did.
nothing to do with the freeze.
Not exactly.
Okay, good.
I mean, it does have something to do with the freeze because we were able to keep the freeze.
Right.
Those that have homestead on their properties, they're protected from what's happening throughout this city. Those people that do not have the freeze on their property, when these assessments start changing, their tax bill changes. When frozen properties assessments change, their tax bill still stays the same.
Okay.
So this is what would have happened
Had
if
not we kept the freeze.
Right.
And I was
There-
teasing Travis that we were on every street corner, you and I. But you're a theology major, so we were there for the right reason. Right. And so you have been out in the community attending meetings and making presentations to try to explain the difference, because we have a lot of seniors. They are not technology proficient, so they are not keeping up with all the issues on social media.
Right. This is a different situation. It doesn't affect those that we were helping last year
Right.
with the freeze. It affects all of the other property owners that have investment properties, second homes, additional acreage. So that's who we're trying to help this time.
Okay, so that additional acreage, I heard one lady said she had family heir property that now she owns. And so when they moved there when she was a kid 70 years ago, I mean, that was really the rule, no services or anything. But now they've come in and they have reassessed that. And her bill was going to be more than what she actually gets in Social Security every month. So, I mean, those are the kinds of things, because it's only, it's what is it, 2 acres that you can only have under homestead exemption? Right.
2 acres are homesteaded, and then so anybody with additional acreage other than those 2, they're being assessed, and their tax bill is going up. But I've seen people that the 2 acres that they have that are homesteaded and they have their property on, their improved acreage has gone down, while their unimproved acreage has gone up in value. So there is this uniformity issue. There's no rhyme, there's no reason to what the tax assessor's office did this year. And
With this new software that it had never been tested. No, I mean, really,
let's
usually
go ahead and blame it on the software.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is that's what I keep hearing. Well, we have a new software, but everyone knows before you go live with anything. I mean, I worked for the Census Bureau. You always have to test it. So if there are any problems, then we can have a chance to work that out. So Travis, how can you help us with this? I mean, we're in a dilemma, and everywhere I go, whether it's in the grocery store or, you know, in the Walmart, you know, people want to stop and talk about it.
Sure.
So explain.
Sure. Well, fortunately, if you're unhappy with the value that your home is assessed at, or that your business or vacant land is assessed at, you have the opportunity under Georgia law to appeal that. Now, the important thing, and I'll get to the process in a minute, but the important thing is if you do not file that appeal, then you have essentially agreed to the value on the notice you received, and there's nothing you can do about it for this tax year after that. So
then you're stuck.
Then you're stuck.
So you can't just trust them to go back and fix it. You're going to have to file an appeal.
That is correct.
To say, I do not agree with this bill.
That's correct.
Okay.
And there's a very specific process that you have to follow in order to do that. You can't just pick up the phone and call someone at the Board of Assessors and say, I disagree with this process. What you need to do, you need to look on the notice that you received with the new assessment of your property. And you ought to look, there'll be a section for previous assessment and current assessment, and then there'll be a section for previous taxes and estimated taxes for the future. If that assessment went up in any significant amount to where you think it's worth your time or disagree with your value going up that high, what you need to do is there's a form that you need to fill out. You need to enter that. It includes your name, the parcel number. It's fairly self-explanatory, but of course it is a government form, so it's longer.
When you say it's self-explanatory, I mean, can you just imagine someone that's 70, 80 years old, and then they got to figure out the parcel number. I mean, we have some very sharp seniors, because I'm a senior myself. But a lot of times, government forms are not people friendly.
That's correct.
And it might be difficult. So you're going to be having some community outreach to help people if they want to come to a location. And then, of course, they can, those that are on social media can reach out to you and get a little coaching too on understanding what the form is asking for.
Sure, sure. It's and one good thing, the notice that someone received from the tax assessor, that's going to have your parcel number on there, your address on there. It's going to have most of the information that has to go on the form.
Okay, so they won't have to go seeking their important records at the bank vault or something like that.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
So when you fill that form out, the value is going to be the most important thing to have on there. What do you think the value of the property should be? A lot of people would say, well, I was happy with my assessment last year, and they would go with that value. Some people may have a recent appraisal. They might have refinanced their home recently, might have refinanced the property. So that would give you a good idea of the value. But whatever value you put there is what you are saying you should be taxed at versus the value that was placed on it by the assessors. Then the next important step is you have to physically, and I would physically rather than in the mail, unless you're going to do it by certified delivery to make sure you have confirmation that it arrived, you physically hand deliver it over to the Board of Assessors and give them that form. And at that point you have initiated the appeals process, the first step, which is going to trigger a review by the Board of Assessors to take a look back at your property and determine if indeed there are changes. That's right.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to put a pin right here, go to our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
All right.
Okay. We'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors. Straightforward is brought to you by Chalk by Quincy introduces Excellence Redefined. Timepieces of the finest technology, luxury, and class with tons of style at chalklifestyle.com. Renal Associates, LLC, a team of physicians dedicated to excellent kidney care with 5 convenient locations to serve you. Stark Avenue, Columbus, Bradley Park, Columbus, Lafayette Parkway, LaGrange, East Burkhalter Avenue, Buena Vista, and Springs Street in Warm Springs. A second chance criminal record relief. Laws have changed in your favor. Attorney Jennifer Dunlap is offering assistance in removing felony and misdemeanor convictions from your record. Services are available for a limited time only. Call Attorney Dunlap today to see if you qualify at 706-405-0393 or visit secondchancelaws.com.
Walmart's reason for supporting Thurgood Marshall College Fund is simple. We like to win. And we have been given a lot of exposure to some incredible talent. And we also believe that it's a part of our responsibility to the community to give back. This is a great opportunity to do both. It's been a wonderful experience for us through the years. We've appreciated our partnership. We believe in return on investment, and we have definitely had a remarkable return.
And welcome back to Straightforward. I'm continuing this very important community conversation with my great friend, Realtor Charmaine Crabb, and attorney Travis Hargrove. Well, I appreciate all of the efforts, all the work. I know there are a lot of community meetings going on. There are going to be some sites coming up where people can come on site to get assistance with filling out the forms. But Travis, you were suggesting that people walk in that form. So when they walk the form in, do they get a receipt? Because you know I don't trust people. I'm an old social worker. Do we make them sign and give us a copy? Do we take 2 copies and have them sign off? I mean, because once you don't trust the system, you just don't trust it. So how are we guaranteed that our paper won't get lost in the shuffle?
I would suggest, because there's a very large volume of appeals being filed this year, and when there's that large of a volume, no matter how great the tax assessor's office handles all of them, there is a chance that one could get lost or misplaced. So what I would recommend you do is go in with your copy of the form or with their copy of the form, and make a copy for yourself and get them to sign off that they received it.
Right.
That way, if there ever is an issue and you hear that they did not have your appeal, you can go to them and say, yeah, all I can tell you is I took the appeal to you and I have a record, here it is.
Right, and John Doe signed it on
Exactly.
this date, that
Exactly.
you all received it. And then
Exactly.
we need to keep those in a safe place.
Yes.
Because this process is going to take a few months, is what I understood, before they could even start answering, or how long is this process?
At the city council meeting this morning, he said that he's John Williams.
And who is John Williams?
John Williams is the chief appraiser for the tax assessor's office. And he said that they've already processed a lot of the appeals that they've already received. And he said that the majority of them, they did lower the assessed value.
Really?
And so, you know, they're getting through it as fast as they can, and trying to resolve the issue.
But there's no guarantee if we get this big push, because there is a deadline to filing it. Is that correct?
That's
August
correct.
14th.
August the 14th.
Okay, so what if they get, say, 10,000 on August 14th? It's going to take some time.
It is.
It is.
Right, to get through those.
So talk
And
about that, because you know that better than
Sure.
I do.
So once the assessors, level 1 is the assessors will look at it and see if any adjustment needs to be made. You can actually request a meeting with the Board of Assessors, and they'll give you that meeting.
Really?
Yes. So you'll have an opportunity, and that is not really at a hearing level. I'll get to that in a minute, but that's literally a meeting where you get the chance to explain to them why you think your assessment was incorrect. And I think that it sounds like they've already been largely receptive to many of those where the new increased assessment was just not justified by any evidence. So they'll sit down, and you may get some relief there. And if you do, that's the end of the process. You don't have to go any farther.
Right.
He did mention today that there's a small portion down at the very bottom of that appeal form, and it's like for explanation. And he said that really helps if people will just put in an explanation. Why do you think that you should appeal? Why are you appealing, and
The reason
your
you're
reasoning
appealing.
behind it? And he says that's been very helpful for them to get these pushed through, because they just look at that and it's like, that seems reasonable, you know, and they move forward.
Okay. All right, so that's the first one. That might be the easy and the...
Right.
Okay, but all of them won't be that way.
That's right.
Okay.
Some of them will not be adjusted by the assessors. And the next level you go to, there's options on the form. There's an option for arbitration. There's an option for going straight to Superior Court, which requires consent of the assessors to jump that forward in the process. But 99 times out of 100, where you'll end up is the Board of Equalization as the next level.
Now, who makes up the Board of Equalization?
Those are citizens who are appointed by the grand jury. They're compensated, I believe it's $20 or $25 a day. So it's
$25 a day. That's like being on jury duty.
well, that's right.
Right. So it's the reason I chuckle at that is because no one is getting paid big bucks
No.
or anything like that. So
No.
it's really just something you do as being a
it's a
citizen.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a
These-
community service.
That's it.
Okay.
These people are citizens who are giving of their time in order to help with the process. And what will happen then is they're going to hear the evidence in support of the value which you contend should be applied to the property, and they'll hear evidence from the Board of Assessors as to what they contend the value of the property is. They'll then, after hearing all the evidence, they'll go back separate, have everyone out of the room, and within about 15 minutes to half an hour, generally, you will have a decision from them as to what they believe the value of the property is. And
So you should be bringing all your documentation to back up what your case is, because it's almost like a court case. You're a lawyer.
absolutely, absolutely.
If you have pictures or anything like that of your property, or you might want to bring that too.
I would suggest the assessors are going to have what they contend are comparable properties to your property. And a comparable property is supposed to be one that's similar in size, location, style of building, type of zoning, those types of things. Age.
Right.
They're going to have, usually it's 3 or 4 comparables that they use to base their value on. So there's a couple different options. One, if you have the resources, you can get an appraiser to go and do an appraisal of your property, and that's
But that's a fee.
That's
right.
yeah, you're going to have
and that's
to pay
what we
that
normally
appraiser.
do in real estate.
Right.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And well, speaking of that, then the Columbus Board of Realtors has started to rally around this, and they have realtors that will help
With finding that
people
value.
finding their values
Okay,
and
well,
finding their comps.
What we're going to do is take our final break,
Okay.
and we'll be right back.
Okay.
We'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors. Straightforward is brought to you by Warrior Outreach. Contact Command Sergeant Major Retired Sam Rhodes or Kathy Rhodes. Freedom Printing for all of your designer printing needs. Gunboat Plaza, Suite 18. Zeal in Uptown Columbus, where you can enjoy an intimate dinner atmosphere, and every entree is chef-inspired with passion. Dinner is served Monday through Saturday, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Howard Johnson Hotel, 1011 Veterans Parkway, Columbus. For an international dinner experience you will never forget. Zeal in Uptown Columbus. Progressive Funeral Home, family owned and operated since 1952. The George Ford legacy of high standards continues today in the compassionate and professional services provided. A touch of dignity for those who care. Progressive Funeral Home, 4235 St. Mary's Road. Trusted by generations. Best Care, transforming minds and bodies, leading the way in the latest techniques of medical weight loss and wellness. Certified in family medicine and bariatrics, Dr. Blunt is ready to assist in the transformation of your mind and body. Call today, 706-221-6477, or visit bestcarecolumbus.com. East Alabama Endocrinology, educating and caring for those living with diabetes in Alabama and Georgia. 1400 Bradley Lake Boulevard, 3320 Skyway Drive, Suite 602, Opelika. Take charge of diabetes and live your best life.
History is important because it shows where you're coming from and where you're going. Type 2 diabetes is something that runs in my family, which means I'm at risk. In fact, 1 in 3 American adults are at risk for developing type 2 diabetes. And knowing this, if I do nothing, that family history becomes my family's future. And my family is too important to me for that. Take the risk factor assessment today at AskScreenNo.com.
Hi, I'm Bo Pelini. Please join the fight to put an end to homelessness among our military vets.
You can find them on a street corner, in a homeless shelter. Veterans who served America in her time of need. Now, they need your help. The Letter Winners Challenge is dedicated to ending homelessness among our veterans.
Even one homeless vet is one too many for me.
To learn how you can help, log on to thehomelessvetsproject.org.
And welcome back to Straightforward. I'm continuing this great community conversation with my wonderful friend Charmaine Crabb and attorney Travis Hargrove. Well, before we went to the break, we were talking about how the realtors are helping to get property values, because that will save money, because everyone can't afford to pay an appraiser,
Right.
which is usually between like $300 and $400 on residential.
Correct.
Okay. And so what were you saying, Charmaine?
Well, you don't need the comps just to file your appeal. In fact, we're encouraging people to go ahead and file their appeals, and encouraging them to just put in last year's assessed value if they were okay with last year's assessed value.
Okay.
That will get the ball rolling, and that will get the numbers into there by August
deadline.
the
Right.
August 14th deadline. Then, if the tax assessor's office comes back with news that you don't like to hear, then the Columbus Board of Realtors and the real estate agents that are there to help will help them with their comparables.
Okay.
And help them get ready for going in front of the Board of Equalization that Travis was talking about.
Okay, so you all will assist them with helping to pull their documentation together to present their side of the case.
To support what they put down as their value. I know it seems like it's a little bit backwards, but from everything that we've seen, the housing market has been pretty stable over the last year.
Yes.
There is no high, 250%
Right.
value up,
Or 1,000%, yeah.
or huge drops either.
Right, because someone said theirs went down $50,000, even though they made an improvement on the same street where they've always been.
Right.
Right, so there's no rhyme or reason, is what we were saying.
There's no rhyme or reason.
Okay.
So we can help with that.
Okay, so Travis, we want to make sure you let us know everything, because you are
Sure.
legal expert.
Sure. Well, one important thing, there is no fee for filing your appeal, and there's no fee for going before the Board of Equalization.
Very good.
Now, if you do not prevail at the Board of Equalization, there is yet another level that you can go to, and that is the Superior Court. And the Superior Court is the court of general jurisdiction in this county that, for instance, when there's big criminal trials, that's the court that those trials are usually taking place in, unless they're in federal court. It is a court where we have juries of 12 people, and both the taxpayer and the assessors have the right to a 12-person jury trial in the
Really?
event that appeal is made.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's where Bobby Peters, I know a lot of people trust Bobby. He's a Superior Court judge, and of course Judge McBride.
That's
and so we're
correct.
talking that level.
That's correct.
We're not talking Recorder's Court or even the state court.
That's correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
Judge Peters and
There's
Judge
a-
McBride,
right.
and there's other
Yeah,
judges
yeah,
as well.
Judge Smith and the rest. Right,
So,
okay.
so if you go, you will have to actually pay a filing fee to appeal to Superior Court, and that's about $250 that goes directly to the court. If you're going to spend that $250 and it's a large enough amount of taxes where you feel the need to do that, you may want to think about having legal representation at
Yes.
that point.
Yes.
The reason, well,
Someone that understands the process, right?
that's right, and
No,
it could
it's
be
important.
myself, or there's plenty of lawyers in
Others,
this
yes.
community who are qualified. But the assessors, if you're in Superior Court, they will have legal representation, and they'll have good legal representation. So you want to make sure that you have that as well. But you want to always talk to an attorney up front about what the fees will be, because you don't want to be in a situation where you're spending as much or more than
As
you would
what-
save in taxes.
If you paid it. But
Exactly.
for people that increase $84,000.
Right.
It's worth it to pay the $250 to Superior Court.
That's right.
And then hire the attorney.
That- I would
That
say
is
so.
a big amount.
Yes.
But if you're talking about $1,500, it might not be worth
That's-
that in terms of, well, the moral side is, but the financial side. So you have to weigh it out.
Exactly,
Count the
exactly.
costs.
And like I said, there's plenty of good lawyers in this community, and any of the good lawyers in this community will speak up front with you about what their fee will be, and they'll evaluate whether it's something that justifies hiring them, and let you know their thoughts on the front end of that too.
Okay. And so we're going to be having some more community events.
Yes, there's one this Friday in Bellwood. It's going to be at 3:30. Oh, I guess that'll be after the
Right.
show.
Well, we'll be having one at Hosey Monumental
Hosey
CME Church, which is our church.
That's right, on
It will
August
be
3rd.
August 3rd is at the Allen Page Complex, and people can come, and you'll be there, and you'll be there, and they can get all of their questions
And
answered.
we will have real estate agents there with appeal forms.
Okay.
You know, at tables, so people bring their tax notices, and we will help you fill out your tax appeal.
And this is no charge.
No charge.
See, that's what I'm saying. You are such a good community advocate. We need to just get more people like you, and of course, like Travis, he's going to provide some community advice, but when you go to his office, they're going to have to pay because you are in business being a lawyer. So we appreciate everything that you all are doing. This is a very important issue. People need to understand, because as Travis said, if you go along with it, then you're stuck with it.
right.
Okay, so tell them how they can reach you very quickly, because we are almost out of time.
My phone number is 706-392-6116.
And you're with Remax?
Remax Champions.
All right, and then you are also on social media?
I am.
Charmaine
you can
Crabb.
find Charmaine Crabb. You can find me on Facebook. You can Google my name, and I.
No telling, he might see us on the corner. And then Travis?
And I'm with the Finley firm, and we're located at 200 13th Street, and my phone number is 706-322-6226, and we have a website, www.thefinleyfirm.com, and I am actually in the dark ages and do not have any social media accounts, but
They can find you.
That's right.
At the Finley.
That's right, at the Finley
Absol-
firm.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you all so much for coming and sharing. This is a very important conversation, and we look forward to helping all the citizens understand, because we want everybody to protect their property.
That's right.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
thank you.
This has been straightforward. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Until next time, be blessed.